and how you feel, all that stuff. You can ask questions if you like. Also, if you haven't gotten a raffle ticket yet, make sure you go back to that table at the entrance. Get yourself a ticket so that you can put in for some of these giveaways. Got a lot of great stuff up there. Oh.
Here, you have your tickets, girls. Those have tickets. What if you win? Where are your tickets? We don't need to win.
Watch the
You don't
wine.
need to win. Yes, you do. So we'll be starting on the food preservation in just a few minutes. We're first going to do a giveaway. We just finished the animal processing. All right, getting settled here for the giveaway. Let me turn you around. The drawing is going to be here, and we're going to do food processing right after. Have one here, but otherwise you've got the large.
Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap off a few things here. We got a bunch of stuff to give away, so everybody get the ticket out. Did everybody get a raffle ticket? Raffle tickets. Everybody got a ticket? All right, pick one out of there, Sophie.
And Judy, you don't put your. Do you have them in your hands from the other side? Where are your tickets?
All right, we got number 792. Yay! 792. More or less. And that was from Jesus Loving Homesteader, Carmen. Who donated that one? Right here. Elderberry.
Ooh, elderberry. Nice giveaway.
Okay, we got number 812.
812.
812.
Ooh, we little girl. Is that you?
812. Come up.
No.
All
All
right.
right.
Over there, grab her a plant. Next one in line.
812. Here she goes.
What's this plant? Who donated this little plant? Poison ivy? What did y'all say? A fig.
Ooh, little fig tree. That is cute.
Okay, we got number 773. I don't even know what I did with my ticket. I'm a loser. Hang on. 773.
What were your numbers, girls? Do you have your numbers?
No takers. Come on now.
What are your numbers? Can you show me? What are yours?
773. Come on, you better look.
What are your numbers? Oh, but you didn't put them in.
No winners. All right, give me another one. Come on. Here. 776. There's a winner. You're gonna have to double check it, though. I don't have the 776. Does that look like?
Yes.
Did you get the aloe or that is what's that? First lane. We got aloe and first lane. Which one am I grabbing? Okay. One more.
Yeah, aloe.
All right. 750.
750.
Winner chicken dinner.
Oh, there's a winner here.
Jesus, let me know if that right. Explain to y'all what that is for. First lane is a good herb. 777.
Ooh, 777.
777. Winner, winner.
Yes, we have one.
Plant or a bag over there. Plant or a bag over there. These are for Jesus Loving Homestead.
Yes. You got seats.
Cooking onion. One more. Got a bag. You got to show us in it now.
You got, I believe.
Labels. Seeds.
Yeah.
Seed packet there. Little seed packets. We're good right there. Garage.
Or that's the name.
Go and see Carmen over there. She'll tell you all about the seats.
761. 761.
Girls, where are you? Since
761?
You had
Okay.
two. Where are your tickets?
Going once, going twice.
You still have the other side on this thing.
778.
So keep the
778?
inside.
How you win it twice now? Come on. Okay, well she don't get to pick her. She don't get her own plan, so she gets something. What do you got? Is that your wife? Is that fun for you? Go ahead. Man, I was hoping to get some of that. All right. One more, we on the table. carry on food processing.
Can you give me a
755, 755. 755.
You have
No takers?
755?
755.
Okay. Wow.
765. 765. Come on, no takers. 765, right here.
Oh, you do have one. Yes.
Use the last plant. Jesus Loving Homesteader, YouTube, y'all check them out. Lady Gardening Family Herb, she's gonna be up here speaking in a minute. Food processing.
All right, girls. I think we're gonna do canning now. Take it out here. We're gonna start the canning. Preservation. Hi, Deborah. Good to see you here. We are getting Monica and Wendy on stage right now for the food processing.
When you got watching? Who's watching?
I don't know. I think Wendy on there, so I know. And Deborah I just disconnected. Comes and goes. Please. Okay, everyone, we're going to show you. Okay, we're going to show you how to take all this stuff in a jar and can it water through preservation. Wendy, yeah, we don't hear you. I'm going to hold it. You need to put it close to your mouth. This is a pressure canner. Is she going to eat it?
Yeah, so you gotta eat the mic.
It's like a small ball, so be careful with your canner. Yesterday, I went on ahead and prepped up a few pounds of T-bone steak. You can fill your jars, pack them solid, and leave about 1 inch space at the top. This is called raw pack. All the meat that we're going to have today is raw. I don't add any liquid to it. And yes, I'll wash my hands. The T-bone steak is a little bit fatty. I cut off all the fat and the bones and put them in bags in the freezer for broth and later.
Now, you can some of that fat. You have fat in there, right?
Yes, and the fat will separate and form a top. Whenever we pull it out of the canners.
So it's okay if you don't get it crazy lean. You can still have fat on your meat. It just know that it's going to separate when you can it. And I feel like it's going to create a lot of yummy goodness. So it's good to leave some of that, right? So you cut these up into small cubes. They've been in the fridge?
Yes.
So they're cold.
No, I pulled them out a couple hours ago and let them come to room temperature.
Okay, so they came out a few hours ago and they came to room temperature. So we're starting with room temperature meat.
I got to put my spices in.
Okay, so she's gonna go ahead and add spices now, after. But you can spice them in the bag, shake them up, and then add them?
Yes,
Okay.
or put the spice in the bottom of the jar.
Okay. Or put the spices in the bottom of the jar. Got it. She's really accurate with her measurements. Make sure you follow this recipe. 1 handful of garlic powder.
Season to taste.
Seasoned to taste. A 1/4 handful of salt.
The only advice I would give on seasoning is on your salt, don't use iodized salt. For one, it makes your jars and stuff cloudy.
No iodized salt, or you'll have to and it won't be your cat. Okay. Fine ground black pepper, another handful. 1/4 teaspoon. She actually got technical that handful. And we've got Montreal steak seasoning, a 1/2 teaspoon handful. Very accurate. Again, season to taste. No iodized salt.
When you're Canning meat, you want to take and wipe the rims off with vinegar. It cuts through the fat and the grease as opposed to water. So just come up with some vinegar and wipe your rims with the vinegar cloth.
No water added, meat only, seasoning only, pretty simple. Wipe rims with vinegar. I have to eat the microphone. Okay, she's putting her lid. You've got lid. This is your lid. This is your ring. She's popping on finger tight.
Finger tight.
Finger tight. That's important. Because if you don't do it finger tight, then it's too loose and everything comes out. If you do it too tight, you get a boom.
No, it's
Too tight.
I don't know that it's.
Oh, does it like this if you do it too tight? It'll make it bulge and it won't seal. Got it. Too tight, won't seal. Too loose, won't seal. Finger tight, just right.
Okay, when you get ready to do your canner while you're taking your jars, I'll have a canner back here on display if y'all want to come by and look at how much water's on the bottom of it. I measure it by my finger, so I know how much to put in there by my finger. So I'll have one back there so y'all know how much water to put in the bottom of your canner when you get ready to pressure canner. Once you get all your jars ready, you put them into the canner. Now let's see how many of these quails get into a jar.
Everybody wants to come measure his finger later. That's fine. You just need to grab her and measure her finger so you know exactly how deep to fill it. That's another handful of salt. Half a teaspoon. She's gonna fight me. That's okay, I know it. Accurate onion powder, no garlic powder measurement again. Half teaspoon. She's just saying half teaspoon now to pacify me. And she's got 1 quail, 2 quail, 3 quail, 4 quail.
With a few feathers.
With a few feathers. 5 quail, 6 quail. I think we have feathers. 7 quail, 8 quail, and she's gonna get that 9 quail.
I was gonna say we could probably get 2 or 3 more in here.
So she's got 9 quail on there right now, and you can see there's plenty of space. She could probably fit maybe a couple more.
It just means that this one will hang on the shelf very long. We'll eat it first.
Because it has more headspace? Okay, so just note, if you have something a lot of headspace, eat it first. Because it would potentially get bacteria faster than other things, which is why headspace rule is important to follow.
Very critical. It's all scientifically
Very critical.
adhere to the headspace.
Okay, headspace is important. You're gonna go, for meat, you wanna pack to 1 inch or half an inch? An inch headspace for meat. She's packed that, she's good with that. Now we're gonna do the chicken.
In chicken, it's easier if you butcher them 3 at a time because you can pack 3 thighs and 3 legs perfectly into a quart jar. So today, this is just gonna kind of be random and we're gonna see what we can get in there.
Get it in there.
Push it in. Oh. Do you want me to cut the leg off? And separate the leg and the thigh? Yes. Here, can I have a knife? Okay. We're going to try to separate the thigh and the leg right here and make that cut. And if we make that cut, you probably can squeeze it in there and fit it in there. She's also going to take off some of this extra bone that may not be as important. Because if you can fit it in there, you're better off squeezing as much as possible. But look, she's smashing it in there. You might cut this one, and you can good. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these. She's gonna cut these. It's chicken, it's her being. So she's cutting at the joint right here, and just using that joint to give her that leverage. Having the skin on makes it a little more difficult, I think, sometimes to cut through. Now, while Wendy's cutting, I wanted to take note and show you guys there's 2 different canners we have up here. Both of them are pressure canners. This is not an Instant Pot. This is not an Instant Pot. I will say that one more time. This is not an Instant Pot, okay? This is an electric pressure canner, not a pressure cooker. Well, it does do pressure cooker, but pressure canner. We're going to show you this in a second, too. So she cut through, oh yeah, once she cuts this one, she's going to be able to get it in. Now, what she's doing with hers is a pressure canner, right?
Yes, it's a pressure.
Just a regular pressure canner.
Old-timey, time-consuming.
You gotta watch the jiggle more on hers than watching my jiggle. So you'll see that in a minute. Okay. So we have 3 jars in Wendy's so far. And how many can you pack in your pressure canner? So she can put 7 quarts typically in her pressure canner. And that's going to be a difference in the 2 pressure canners. You're going to notice she can pack a lot more in her pressure canner than I can pack in mine. Okay, she's got the entire bird in there. Legs, thighs, and the back.
No wings or back.
No wings or back, just the breast and the legs and thighs. Okay, 4 cans in there, 4 jars in there. We put some else in there? Okay. All right, so now we're going to get to the rabbit. We're going to need your vinegar. All right. Yeah, can you grab me a napkin? A paper towel, just a couple. All right. Okay, so we're just going to start packing it the same way she did hers, and I'm going to start with my thighs first because I have a feeling this is going to be the tricky part for me as well. Stick it in there. I'm going to stick with the light. I'm going to stick with what works for me, and I know that I like to cook the thighs at the same time, so I'm going to stick them both in the same jar. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a couple of these wings in. And I'm able to put all that into 1 jar. All right. Okay, let me see if I can get a couple more pieces of this meat in here. Hello. It's tricky. We don't know, we have mixed meat up here. That's okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the belly flaps into this one.
On the pressure canner, I'm going to take it back to the stove. Technically, you should have the water simmering. Packing the jars and put it in it. Once you put the lid on it, you have to bring it up, turn it on to about a medium-high heat, and then bring it up until there's a full plume of steam that comes out this little nozzle right here. You'll put your lid on, and then it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for it to heat up and start steaming a full nozzle of steam. And then when the steam starts coming out of here, you time it for 10 minutes and let it vent for 10 minutes. And what that does is it transfers air and steam and puts steam into the pot and takes the air out. And this will all be on display in the kitchen if y'all want to mingle by and come look at it.
Okay, so for the second jar that I have, because I have a head space there and a lot of air in there, I think I'm going to go ahead and put some water in this because it will keep a little longer. When you have the liquid in it to give you that filler, it's going to keep longer than if I didn't have anything else in it. So I'm going to go ahead and fill some up with water, add a little water to it, and I'm going to fill the water to right about the edge, right? Yeah, I'm going to fill it to the one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill this with water when I take it back. Now, one of the things I did want to show is all this is raw meat, but I like to pack cooked items. I like to pack cooked meat. So I actually have some pre-cooked sausage that I ground up this morning when I was making my potluck share. And I'm actually going to fill up 2 quart jars with sausage. I cooked it in the Instant Pot or crock pot or whatever for a few hours this morning. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in jars real quick too. Eric, I need my spoon. I forgot to bring my spoon. Or I can't use my hands for this. Thank you. A spoon, yep. There will be a little bit. Yeah. All right. Once I get a spoon, I will start ladling out this meat. You can see I filled the water up to right at that 1-inch mark. I'm as accurate as Wendy when I do this part too, which I probably should be more accurate, but I'm doing an electric pressure canner, so it's a little less boom that it goes off from. But there's my water line. This is gonna give me a little bit of liquid, but there's not much liquid coming off of the rabbit. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. Thank you. Now I'm just gonna put this in. So I've got cooked meat here, I'm just putting it into the jar, and I'm gonna fill it up the same way.
All meat processes for 90 minutes. Depending on where you live and your altitude, you need to go to the USDA website and look on their altitude. Most of the area around here is 11 psi, or 11 pounds of pressure. 11. Wait a minute, time is 10. No, it's 11 here.
I don't know, my thing doesn't work. I'll have to think.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna pack this down. It's pretty good. I've got my headspace there. I'm just gonna do like I did the other ones and can it up to that line. And I'm not putting any extra liquid in this. I'm just canning it as is, dry pack, whatever it's called. It's not raw. It's not a raw pack. Yeah. Oh, and this meat is temperature. It is not hot. If you're starting with hot canner, you start with hot meat or hot liquids. If you're starting with a room temp canner, you can start with the room temperature stuff. This for mine. I know. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions so far?
So I've watched some videos about, and everyone I've watched, they had the lids mix it off water.
If you're doing a pack, then yes, you heat your lids and rings, or your rings, not your you heat your lids, not your rings.
Okay.
But you also heat your jars in a hot
So
pack
that's
too.
if it's hot when you throw it in there, or?
Yeah, it's called a hot pack.
But I don't always do that. I put hot stuff in my just washed out and hot water. I just wash it in real hot water and then pull it out, put my hot stuff in it, and then I take a ring or a seal and I run under really hot water for a second and then smack it on there.
The USDA has come out with guidelines in the last couple of years that have said that you don't have to heat your lids if you're going to process the can or the jar for more than 15 minutes.
Okay, so
That's new. That's very new.
So one of the things we've done is, we're obviously doing meat here. We're doing 90 minutes for the quart jars. If we were doing pint jars, we could do 75 minutes of pressure. 75 minutes at the pressure that you need, at the pounds of pressure you're doing. Now, with my electric canner, everything, a lot of it's done for me. All I have to do is put my jars in. I add approximately 8 cups. Not a finger, I don't know about the finger thing, but I'm adding 8 cups specifically of hot water. It doesn't have to be crazy boiling hot. Maybe my thing says boiling water. I use hot water from the tap because air keeps it up real hot in our house. So I use 8 cups of water. I pour 8 cups of water in this canner and then I close it and I set it and I push some buttons and then I walk away. And now hers will come to pressure after about 20 minutes or so. And
30 minutes, and then you let it vent for 10 minutes, and then after it vents for 10 minutes, you put your weight on, and then you will see your pressure rise in there. And once it gets up to about 8 to 9 pounds, you want to start turning it down so that when it hits 11, you don't overshoot the mark. And I'll be back there. Anybody can come back there and watch me do this.
okay, so where does it vent? When you know it's coming to pressure, you're going to see steam come out of here. And when you know it's time to put the little jiggle on, you're going to see a steady stream of steam come out here, right? So once you see this start steady streaming, then you add your little jiggle, right?
10 minutes.
Oh, so you're going to let this go.
Once the steady stream comes out, let it vent for 10 minutes, and then put your weight on.
Steady stream, 10 minutes, put your jiggle. And then once the jiggle starts jiggling like for real.
It's not a jiggle, but
Okay, whatever.
It's a weight.
It's a weight. Once the weight starts like that.
No, it won't do it on this one.
It don't even make sound.
You watch the pressure on the gauge. If you have a gauge, a dial gauge, you watch the pressure on your gauge. They used to not make canners with the gauge on there, and that's when they used to use the jigglers. The newer canners all have the gauge on, and you use your gauge. When you first draw
your weight on there after you let it get 10 minutes of steam. You drop your weight on there, your release valve will come up, and then your pressure will start rising on your gauge, and you can watch it. And then when it gets up to about 8 pounds, you start turning it down slowly, so that once you get up to the 11 pounds, you're right on the mark. And I try to keep it between 11 and 12 pounds.
Okay. And then, wait, what are you doing?
The big thing with the canner is, guys, the pressure is all dependent on elevation. Around this area, 1,000 feet of elevation, you need to run 11 psi on your canner. What they're talking about not overshooting is you just don't want to full blast heat it, because you're going to go to the 11. By the time you turn your fire down, you're over to 15 pounds. Bring the canner up slow, 11 pounds for this area. If you're cooking in Colorado or something, it's going to be a different pounding. And that's where your comes in on your canner. Some of them are very high. Around here, 11 psi. And that is perfect.
Okay, now that was how you do it with hers. With the electric pressure canner, it's super easy. Because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. I'm gonna hit the high button for pressure can. I'm gonna set my time to 90 minutes. It's gonna come up on here because it's like idiot proof, right? So I need it to be that way because I have a lot going on in my head. So I hit the high. I set the time for 90 minutes because I'm dealing with quartz and I've got meat. And then I hit start. That's it. What's gonna happen is I keep this top. There's a piece on the top that says exhaust and airtight. Two options. And I put it to exhaust and it's gonna stay on exhaust. And the timer is gonna start doing this little thing where it goes around and around and it's real pretty. And then all of a sudden you see the steam coming out. It's starting to do what hers is doing, but mine is super idiot proof because all of a sudden it goes beep, beep, and it says E10. And that's the exhaust countdown. And it counts down for 10 minutes for me. And when it says E0, it goes beep, beep, again. And I come walking in and I take this and I flip it to airtight and I walk away. And then when it's off, it goes beep, and then the whole thing shuts down and I'm done. And that's it. So this is why I have this. Now, with this, I'm only able to do 4 quarts. I can do 5 pint jars, and this is really cool for me because I like to can leftovers a lot. And if I have this sitting on my counter, I can throw leftovers in it, hot pass in my hot jar that I just rinsed off in really hot water. And rinsed off the lid in hot water, and I set up in a hot leftover situation. I throw it in there for 90 minutes, or actually 75 minutes for my pint jars, and then I walk away because I have other things to do. So this one we're gonna have to watch a little bit because we gotta make sure that the pressure stays up and stays on that thing. Mine, once it beeps at me a few times, we're done. So that is pressure canning.
Any questions?
Any questions? My sausage was half cooked. So I actually I cooked it this morning and I noticed some of it was still raw. That's cool because it'll still finish cooking in here, obviously. But you can do it raw, but you can also do it fully. And I've done it plenty of times fully cooked. It is okay for me. And my children and my husband eat the stuff that I do that with several times. So last night we had a meal of cube steak meat and I had plenty left over, so I may take that steak and recan it for another meal. We'll see. But yeah, it's been fine since I've started, and I follow some pages that are probably not USDA approved, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. Also, I watch Lonely Texas in the Back 20, and I know he does stuff like that too. Okay, what's next? I think next is pan with food preservation.
Actually,
You want to use that one? Is that one better?
I want to see my slides.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the long one, right?
Yeah, this is the long. Here you go.
Remember, guys, a big thing on these scanners too, when the power goes out,
There you go.
it will not work. This one over here can be cooked on a camp stove. All right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have my pantry full already.
Consider
But I don't
that.
have power. I have a generator. I don't, but I will get one. I don't have big kids. Big children. Kids.
Any other questions about the canning? One is here. One serve dry canning. water gas canning,
All
land.
this stuff up here is stuff that we have canned personally. I can, Richard can, bags, freeze drying, all of this stuff here, we have done personally. So, y'all take a look at all of that stuff. It's a variety. There's still a lot more up there that can be canned. If you can buy it in a store in a can, you can can it at home. Remember that.
So next is a quick overview of the different, there are many different preservation methods. So it's just an overview of a few of them outside of canning. And we're going to start with the vacuum sealing. Next slide, which can be used for many different ways. It's a very cool machine. You have there. You can get a decent one for $100. Food Saver is probably the most well-known. But myself, I have a nutrition at home that I love, and it's got many different brands. So you can use it. If you got meat from the store, you want to preserve longer in the fridge or the freezer, you vacuum seal it in one of these transparent bags, and it's going to prolong the shelf life. So that is one thing. What I really like is I don't dry can too much, to be honest. I like to have that oven on for an hour and a half at the house to can goods. So what I do, whether it's flour, pasta, cereals, I vacuum seal. And you have a few here, I believe, that are vacuum sealed. So this is Honey Nut Cheerios cereals. You pour it in the jar, vacuum seal. It takes 2 minutes. So in addition, I'm kind of lazy, it makes me gain time. It's not an hour and a half, it's 2 minutes here to vacuum seal this. The only thing for the flour, I've had bad experiences in the past with bugs. Especially now with all the supply chain issues, I've had fresh bags of flowers directly from the store with bugs in it. And if you just vacuum seal it, you're going to vacuum seal it with the bugs. There's still going to be some oxygen in there and they might survive. So what I would do is put your flour in the freezer for a few days. A little week, let's say 5-6 days, then let it come back to room temperature, 24 hours, and then you vacuum seal it, and that should have killed the bugs. The other option is dry can, because the heat is going to kill the bugs. But as I said, I'm kind of lazy, I don't like to have the oven on, so I like the freezer, then vacuum seal it. So then you've got the other question of what do we use as a container? So I use the mason jars, which are probably the most bulletproof containers. But they're starting to be kind of expensive, and you can only put that much in a mason jar. So the other option is to use nylon bags, and you've got plenty of different stores. I would really recommend for you to get some thick ones and the price to get some good ones. Because Amazon, you can get a lot of different qualities, and if they're not thick enough, bugs are kind of getting, rodents and so on. So it's not as bulletproof as the jars, but it could work. And I've seen other people doing big buckets, the 5-gallon buckets. You put in a big nylon bag, and you put in oxygen absorbers. So here again, oxygen absorbers, make sure you get good quality ones, because if they're not good, it's not going to vacuum seal properly, and your food is going to get wasted very quickly. So that's other option. I like the vacuum sealer, but oxygen absorbers work good if they are good quality as well. The last point is the desiccant. So I don't use it too much here for vacuum sealing. I will talk about it for the drying that I do, but we're in Texas, and especially if you're toward the Gulf Coast, it can be very humid, and you're going to absorb the moisture very quickly. So having a water desiccant at the bottom of the jar can help you in the process to keep it dry pretty much. So I don't know if you have any question on vacuum sealing. That was a very quick overview. I have other topics to cover. It should keep as long. Yeah, if it's vacuum sealed properly, it should. The question I have myself, and I don't have the answer, the community here, is oxygen absorbers versus the vacuum sealer. I've read that oxygen absorbers, if it's a good quality one, can actually pump more oxygen out of the jar than the vacuum but I haven't tested. I don't know the answer here. But you can use both. Sorry? You do both. So which one would work better or last longer? You have either, right? Exactly. Exactly. Which one is the easiest? Or dry canning? Dry canning takes longer. He's a dry canner, and I like to vacuum seal. See, we're not. Sorry, it's gonna go for the dry canning. See. Oh, in terms of shelf life, he might be.
I prefer the dry canning method because it has been around longer. My mother taught me and her mother taught her, so it's just been around. Vacuum sealing, yeah, it works. How long? Who really knows? I just use it because it's what I was taught, and I know it's worked for a long time. And I have personally taken stuff out of a jar that was dry canned that's 10 years old, and it's just as crunchy and fresh as the day you put it in there. No guarantee that every jar is going to be that way, but I have watched my channel. I have eaten stew that is 10, 12, 15 years old, 10-year-old bacon that I put in jars. Everything is cannable. Put back as you possibly can.
All right, next one, pickling. So we have done a bit. We're not experts at all here. So we use vinegar to your fruit. We've done eggs quite a bit actually. It's particularly good with square eggs. We've got tons of recipes over there on the internet. So it's going to keep it for about a year, but you need a cool place to store it. So for me, it's good, but it's not a long-term option, and you're going to need to use mason jars as well here, and a cool place to store. So that's the limit of the pickling. It's not my favorite actually. I much prefer fermenting, but that's my taste. So here you're using sea salt to develop some lactic acid, which is going to kill pretty much any bad bacteria, and you're going to only keep the good bacteria with your fruit, vegetable, whatever you ferment. So I really like it myself because it's a very healthy way to preserve food while keeping some of the nutrients and adding probiotics, which are really good for your gut. So that's something I'm learning. I have a book. I'm still reading, experimenting, trying. I don't know the guy so I'm trying to ferment it, which is really good. But it's the same limits as pickling, meaning it's only midterm for a year or so. You need to watch out, especially in Texas, because you ferment the length of the fermentation at room temperature will depend on the room temperature. And the hotter, the quicker it ferments, and here in Texas it's hot. So you don't want to leave it out too long, otherwise it's going to ferment too much and it can go bad. So that's the risk here. So a day, 2 days, and then you put it in a cool place to store. Ideally a fridge, but if you like fermenting a lot, you need a separate fridge just for your jars. That's the limit of it. You can only store that much, and you've got a cellar, a cool place to keep the jars. But that's definitely something I want to learn more and explore more myself. I don't know if you've got any questions. I said it's learning, so easy questions on that one. Dehydrating. So, George, this is so good in the dehydrating. Yes, so this is the one I use right there, which is an Esco Garden Master. You can easily find a dehydrator for $100, $150. It can go way up if you use a metal one. You've got some that are pretty expensive, but it's a great way as well to store food, fruit, vegetables. I used it for probably less than a year until we decided to buy a freeze dryer. And since I have the freeze dryer, that one is pretty much left on the side and I have not used it again. I'll be honest, it's night and days. But here, we're talking about $100, $150. A freeze dryer is $3,000. So it's a very steep initial cost, but well worth it, really worth it. So here you've got some examples as well of jars that we dehydrated. So that's bananas. They just don't have the same taste as the original one. And when you freeze dry, you keep that original taste. So we're actually going to make you try some freeze-dried fruit here. We have a few, and we have bananas. So we can sample. That was vacuum sealed. That's a point for me. Look at that. It's either here, vacuum sealed. It works.
Dehydrated vacuum sealed versus freeze-dried. Let's try some banana.
Taste comparison. And so that brings us to the last and my very favorite method. Now that we did spend the money on a freeze dryer, this is just wow. So for me, it's really the most effective way to preserve any kind of food, including foods you could not preserve any other way. And a good example here is cheese, like we freeze dried, very crunchy actually as a snack, delicious. We also done milk, which is kind of like the powdered milk you buy at the store. And my little favorite here, which is yogurt. And that's such a good snack. So we're also going to open that one up so for you to try. He's going to hand it out. This is delicious. So that's strawberry vanilla. Just a plain yogurt you got from the store. So actually, it's kind of a complex process in there. It works with temperature and pressure. And it just initially freezes the goods, whatever food you got in there, to very cold temperature. It goes to minus 20 Fahrenheit. And then all of a sudden, it goes from frozen to very high heat. And it goes from solid to gas, pretty much, which is sublimation. And you get all the water out on the edge of the freeze dryer. And it's going to cool there. The inside of the chamber stays very cold, while the inside warm. And all the water is going to ice around the chamber, while your fruit, whatever you put in there, is dry.
Texture and taste.
That's not
You
the
notice
same.
the difference? Everybody tastes, you notice the difference in them? When you're dehydrated, you're going to lose 40% of your nutrient and vitamin.
Yeah.
In the freeze dried, you're only going to lose about 15 to 20 maybe.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Oh,
So-
y'all might as well eat it.
We've tried freeze drying lasagna, beef, ground beef, texture that it is not too fatty. Freeze dried food, if it's preserved correctly, either in a mason jar with an oxygen absorber or in my log bag, oxygen absorber as well, should keep 20-25 years. But if the food is too fatty, like the ground beef, I would give it 10 years max. That one was actually my first. I probably had to drain it a few times, which I did not, to remove the fat. But so far it worked for everything I've done. The only failure at freeze drying was some ice cream sandwiches for the girls. It was chocolate around, and chocolate was not freeze dry, and it was a big mistake. But if you try Skittles, it's delicious. So it's pretty much the only thing that did not work was the sandwich ice cream. So I don't know if you have any question on freeze drying. The only thing I tried to rehydrate was the tomato. And that's pretty much the means. It kept the taste of the tomatoes, but it lost the texture. Meaning it was all like slushy, and it wasn't like a firm tomato you would have in a salad. So that would work good in a stew, in a sauce, but if you want to have a salad, that's not the right texture. And it's probably the same with other veggies and fruits. You're going to lose that crunchy texture when you rehydrate. So I don't know if you have any question on any of these. Yeah, it's my little code on the jar. I put FD for freeze dry. Yeah. There, over there, the very end, you've got onions, ground beef, milk, cheese, and the strawberries here that are freeze dried. Actually, strawberries, you see the difference. The freeze dry, they keep their original color, and if you dehydrate, the color changes. It's a different taste. Yes, you're opening on my right chart.
Strawberries, everybody want to try?
Of course.
This is key. If you're not getting this when you open the jar, be very wary, all right? You're not getting that, be wary.
I can still begin. And once I'm here, actually, I put here some dehydrated sourdough starter. If you guys want to make bread, this is actually a 100-year-old starter that I got from another YouTube channel that could not make it today. So if you're interested, I have the instruction on just a few bags, but if you let me know, I will send you the instructions. I will tell you which YouTube channel to watch to get the instructions. It's very easy. If you add water, just, yes. Yeah, I've got about 20 here, so if you want one, just help yourself. You need to first rehydrate it with as much water as you got starter, and once it's rehydrated, you need to make it grow, adding 1/3 water and 1/3 flour with 1/3 of the starter. The water has to be the water has to be filtered, and the flour has to be unbleached. Yeah. The starter, it's dehydrated at room temperature. You just help yourself. If you want one, just help yourself. Is that the instruction on that one? I just let it dry at room temperature on that one.
Yeah. It's another YouTube channel that it's called Color Drop, and she told me it was 100 years old. It's called Color Drop. She's got things on this side.
Did you tell them sourdough?
Yeah, I just said sourdough. Everybody's
Sourdough
coming.
starter bread right here from the little packet if you want some sourdough starter. This right here is the homemade bread.
Ones with instructions.
Oh, Iris, you're here. I was just talking about you, handing out some of your starter.
Where's your attachment for the vacuum sealer?
Yes. Okay. Hold on, it's in the back.
Raffle, we need to give away some more raffle.
AJ, at the end of our presentation, can we give away 2 shirts? These aren't the actual shirts because we have time. And then we're gonna give away. We're gonna do a quick giveaway then. Okay, we'll do a raffle of 2 shirts and throw a raffle instead of these knives. I'm gonna order directly from Amazon and ship it over. But that's okay because we can just hand. So Jake filled it in with his hand radio thing.
All right, we've got another couple giveaways here. Go ahead, Drake. What number you got?
All right, raffle, everybody in. This is going to be for the case of jars over there. Number 763. 763.
All right, who's winning here?
763, going once, going twice.
Hold on, girls, what are your numbers?
All right, 796. 796. 796. No winner. No winner. 789. 789. Winner.
No.
789. Give me another ticket. 755. 755. No winners? Come on now. 755.
Was it you?
Oh, here we go, right here. Case of jars over there. Here, case of jars.
You need to look at on the other side to see if you won.
And since this is food preservation, let's give away the vacuum sealer, bagger,
Yes.
all the one over there. Hey, I'll leave those in there. Okay, those are yours. 820. 820.
That's not you, girls? I'm glad.
820. Nobody wants to do canner? 820? Man.
Wait, I think it's done.
820.
We have a big winner.
All right. That's all in one, canner, sealer, bagger, the whole thing.
That was the big prize winner over there. The little girl walking away. That's Carmen. She's just loving Homesteader. She just won the vacuum sealer. Who's next? Oh, the fun. Right, let me connect to my next session. We're switching here.
All right, everybody, we're on next month. Homesteading basics.